Hey everyone, today I'm going to tell you about all the gear upgrades I'm making for my John Muir Trail through hike this summer. Let's get into it. These are all of the new pieces of gear that I got for my John Muir Trail through hike, and in this video I'll be going through what each item is, what item is replacing, and why I purchased it. Let's start out with my quilt. This is the Catabatic Gear Flex 22 quilt. Right now it's just packed in its general stuff stack, and this is replacing my Big Agnes sleeping bag. I have the Big Agnes Torchlight 20, and honestly this is a incredibly comfortable sleeping bag. I've never been cold in it. I find it very physically cozy to be inside. The reason that I moved away from the Big Agnes bag and went for the Catabatic quilt is because the Big Agnes bag is just an absolute pig to pack. And I mean that both in terms of weight and just in terms of volumetric space that it takes up inside the pack. I've hiked with this sleeping bag before in the Adirondacks where I do need to carry a bear can, and it was just absolutely miserable. I had a really hard time getting my pack not to bow out around the bear can, no matter how I packed it, no matter what I placed between the bear can and my back. I wanted to get something that was going to compress down a lot smaller and be just as warm. The Big Agnes bag is about 600 fill power, while the Catabatic is about 850. So it means that it will not only be lighter in terms of weight, but also it's going to compress down a lot smaller and be easier and more comfortable to carry. The other thing that I like about the Catabatic quilts versus other quilts on the marketplace that I considered was that they use dry down. So this just makes the down a little bit more resistant to wetting out. It makes it dry a little bit faster. And that was something that was really important to me on a long distance hike where I might experience bad weather. The next item that I chose to upgrade for the JMT was my Puffy. This is the Enlightened Equipment Torrid Puffy. This is synthetic and it has a quarter zip, which is a feature that I really like. The Puffy that I currently have is fine. It's warm, but it's more of a lifestyle coat. I believe this is the Steel Hometown Jacket, I think. And I find that this Puffy, it's a little bit bulky. And the reason why I ended up with this Puffy is because when I was finishing my 48 of the New Hampshire 48, I was on Cannon Mountain. It was full winter conditions, and the zipper on my original EMS Puffy completely exploded. So I had no way to zip my coat, and it was really cold. So that made me really motivated to want to have a jacket that has a quarter zip. So that way, if I'm in a super remote area, the zipper blows out, I have at least my jacket's gonna be halfway closed. I also think the sweatshirt pocket's really fun. And this hoodie comes in a hooded and unhooded version. I run incredibly cold, so I got the version that has the hood and it has some nice little cinches to come down. I usually wear a medium in shirts, and I chose to get a size large Puffy so that I could comfortably layer it. Another notable difference between this Puffy, my down Puffy, is that even though this one is synthetic, it is about half the weight of my down Puffy, just because the Steel Puffy that I have is a little bit more of a lifestyle piece of equipment than a backpacking piece of equipment. Next up, I have my base layer pants. These are Alpha 90 joggers by Magnet Designs. These are just really, really basic pants. They have this nice soft waistband. They have a little drawstring. They have some mesh down at the bottom. These are super, super lightweight, and in general, Alpha fabric has a really high warmth to weight ratio, and as someone who runs abnormally cold when static, I want to make sure that I had warm gear to put on when I was in camp. These are replacing my REI merino wool base layer leggings. The reason why, other than just having a higher warmth to weight ratio, is just that there's a lot of holes in my wool base layers. And that just made me worry, what if all those holes turn into one big hole on trail and then I have a pair of pants that don't really work too well? I still use these leggings for skiing, but I think for long backpacking trips, they've reached their retirement date. My next gear upgrade is my headlamp. This is the Nightcore NU25 headlamp. This replaces my Petzl Tika headlamp, which I think is over 10 years old and does require batteries. This headlamp is USB rechargeable, which I really liked because then I don't have to worry about carrying batteries for my headlamp. I can just charge it off my battery bank or off a wall outlet. This is also significantly lighter than my previous headlamp. It doesn't have as nice of a headband. I mean, for my purposes, this will be great. It still has white light and red light modes. It has decent battery life. I've tested this on a couple walks just around the neighborhood at night. Seems to work great. My last clothing upgrade is my gloves. These are already showing a little bit of wear because I've been wearing these constantly since December. These are the Z-Packs Brushtail Possum Conductive Gloves. These have been doing so well to keep my hands warm, and the item they're replacing is just some synthetic gloves. They are just like generic running gloves, and my hands sweat a lot, and the lousy gloves that I have didn't really do a good job of keeping my hands warm when wet. I have not had the issue with these Brushtail Possum gloves, which is really nice. I'm considering getting the mitten version of these just because my fingers do a little bit better in mittens than gloves. But overall, I really like this material and I really like this item. So I'll either be bringing these gloves or bringing the mitten version of the same exact item. The last gear upgrade is to my gear repair kit. These are replacing the duct tape that I've had wrapped around my trekking poles forever. The tenacious tape is supposed to leave a lot less residue than duct tape and maybe be a little bit stickier. So I have this. Obviously I'll take it out of its packaging and I'm not going to bring the whole roll with me. I also found these little mesh patches and I just thought that these were so cool. I believe this is a pack of 2. I'm just going to bring one, and hopefully I won't need to use it. But this will go in my gear repair kit alongside my sleeping pad patch kit and will hopefully be a little bit better than just using duct tape. And that is all of my gear upgrades for the JMT this summer. I'll be coming up with a new video soon about my full gear list for the JMT. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and comment down below if there's any JMT prep that you're particularly interested in seeing. And most of all, make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any new videos that I have coming out. I will see you all next time. Bye for now.